everybody, to our next episode of Prop Tech Talks, where we talk with real estate executives, investors, and founders discussing key trends in the industry at the moment, what to do about them, how to capitalize on them. We're here with Peter Mikulic from Stena Fastigheter. I hope I said everything there correctly. Peter, it's fantastic to have you. Would you kindly give us an introduction?
Thank you, Matthew, for inviting me to your podcast. My name is Peter Mikulic. I work at the company in Sweden called Stena Fastigheter. Fastigheter is property in English, so you can also say Stena Property. Stena Property is one of Sweden's largest residential company, privately owned. We have about 28,000 apartments spread across the regions of Stockholm, Malmö, and Gothenburg, where I'm also located.
Amazing. And if I'm not mistaken, Stena Property also has not just residential but commercial space as well.
Yeah, but our main business is the residential. We have about 20% of our revenue is from commercial, you can say. And we are actually expanding our business when it comes to commercials, acquiring properties in Poland, in Warsaw, Krakow, and Wrocław.
Really interesting. Well, I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's start with you. I'd love to, well, A, get to know you better, and B, for our audience listening. I think your story has been it's quite interesting. So, how did you get to where you are, the Chief Digital Transformation Officer? It's quite a unique role for real estate, but also incredibly relevant given the last few years and where things are going. So tell us about how you ended up as the CDTO of Stena Property.
Thank you. Yes, it's a really exciting role, and I've been working within digitalization all of my work life, you can say, starting off with programming in COBOL in the 80s and making my journey into different roles within digitalization. So I have a large spread of different roles which I have been working in. So I come from the technical side, you could say. But I'm not, you can say, grown up within the real estate business. I've only been here for 5 years. I actually have been raised, you could say, within the educational business. So I worked for one of Sweden's largest educational organization called Folkuniversitetet, what you can call is the kind of evening schools in Sweden, where you can study different languages or other ways to evolve yourself. So I worked there for 27 years, actually. So the last years I was CEO of one of the companies providing IT services for all of the Folkuniversity organization in Sweden and internationally. But working 27 years in one same place makes you curious. What can you do with my skills in other businesses? So I worked a couple of years in a small company, consulting company, where I discovered that real estate business actually is one of the least digitalized businesses if you look into different industries. So when this opportunity came during COVID, actually, I couldn't resist applying to this role. So that's why I'm here at Stena.
Understood. And so, I mean, real estate being under-digitized could be seen as a good thing and a bad thing. It seems you saw it as an opportunity. Quite a bit has happened in the last 5 years. How would you say the industry has played out since your time at Stena?
I see it that we have two drivers. One of the drivers is that we have to have an efficient administration, which means that we have to secure that our workflows are optimal, that we have integrated digital solutions, and not just solutions that provide, how you say, accounting, but other values that we seek. It could be both analysis or data collection in different manners. And the other driver is future-proofing our buildings, which means that we have to secure that they are energy efficient, and also that they actually can start producing energy, which is one of our focuses here at Stena. We are striving to be self-sufficient when it comes to electricity. So we are working very focused on solar panels and battery storage and charging infrastructure and so on. So
I think it's clear that sustainability, decarbonizing, and net zero goals, these are fantastic drivers for digitalization, more efficient buildings, higher margin buildings. I think to go into a little bit of detail into how this is done, because it ends up being quite a complicated matter. I think that the real estate industry has sort of discovered that digital transformation means stakeholder management, change management. A huge part of this is leadership. So then the question is, what principles do you feel are important for leaders when it comes to having a team, having a business that can adapt to make these necessary changes?
yeah, it's about recognizing the fact that the digital transformation is not about technology. It's a matter of a little bit of technology, but mainly about new business models. It's about the human aspect, which means that there has to be new ways of doing things that's not been done before, and to stimulate curiosity and courage, both within the staff as such, but also when it comes to top management, that they are needed to be curious and also need to be courageous and start to try out things. I think that since real estate is a rather conservative, you can say, business where you make plans and you conduct your work according to these plans, we are rather uncomfortable trying out things that perhaps won't work all the way as planned. And that's kind of mindset, I think, is very vital for a company, that to accept that there are risks, that what we try out perhaps won't be what we thought it would be. But we have a saying here in Sweden that we, in Stena, that let's redecide, which means that we decide something on the facts and the data that we got at hand. But when we discover new things, we are not shy of redecide to another decision and say, let's do it this way. And that could sometimes mean that you have some cost, but you have to be rather quick in that decision making to make sure that some cost is not too large, because you don't want to end up in the old way of doing things, that you have a large sum cost and you throw good money on bad investments.
Definitely. So when new information does come, be prepared to disconnect from a previous strategy if you find that there is a better one.
Yeah.
It can be a painful ordeal, but of course, I mean that it really makes sense. I think when it comes to a lot of businesses today, capex spend, the risk around a strategy that hasn't been done before. Of course, real estate has been more or less the same 20 years until you joined, really, till the last 5 years. And now these new business models, as you call them, are critical to unlocking new growth, which of course there's tension there. There's a way that worked before. There's a way that's maybe not working anymore, and the way that's going to work. How do you look to get a positive return on investment, or how do you look to prove a positive return on investment when you undertake a new project or a new business model, or put new capex in a location? How can a business structure itself to do this successfully?
I think that what you got to do is start small, but always think about scaling, because you don't want to end up in a proof of concept how do you say, swamp, where you got a lot of proof of concepts which don't fly and you don't get them going as a proper projects or full scale ups. I think that's one of our problems in our business for the last 5 years, that we have a lot of proof of concepts and that we are trying out things, but don't think about how will this scale, both when it comes to costs or organization or technology or such. What is very, I would say, very, very good success factor for us here in Stena Property is that we are a long-term owner, which means that we build and buy property which we will have in our portfolio for a very long time, which means that we also work in a portfolio perspective always. We are not looking at a single property as such when we do our digital activities on investments. We are always looking at our complete portfolio, and we know that we have to do some investments that probably won't pay off the first or even the second year. It will pay off on the third year. But when we do that at portfolio level, you get a very how do you say, very good foundation for scaling up different initiatives. For instance, we already 2017 or 18 decided to connect all our property in one large data communication network. So we had one solution, and we rolled out that in, so we have this on our 450 properties today. And that has been one of our how do you say, infrastructure investments that we are now capitalizing on very much. We also decided to change the steering of an automation of heating and regulating the heating in our buildings, also from different solutions to one standard solution, which is not closed. It's more like an open industry standard solution, which you can find in manufacturing and so on. And that's also one large investment that we decided on 2021 or something like that. And that's also one of the things that we now capitalize on when we implement new solution.
Interesting. So I guess the opportunity is often a long run game, but do you think that these sorts of technologies and these sorts of capex investments, they really need to be looked at over a long run time horizon? Yeah. It's not as simple as flick this switch for profit margin today.
No, you can't look at a single property and say how will this benefit this property? It will benefit your portfolio. So Understood. You can't look at the property level. You have to look at the portfolio level.
And looking internally now, less so the stakeholders, more the employees, because real estate has changed a lot. Are different skills required? Is a different mindset required for adaptive, say, portfolio owners, real estate businesses? What do you think? Do you think we're going through a little bit of a shift in mindset within these businesses?
Yeah, because I see if we start um, usually I think that we have been organized around a single property as such. We have a property manager and we have the janitors and so on, because the property could be looked at as a single company. But when we start now to deliver new services to our tenants, it could be broadband services or it could be different added services. They will cut through the organization on a horizontal level, which means that you can't work in silos. You have to work across the portfolio when it comes to charging water consumption or something like that, because you have to build an infrastructure which is being utilized across the portfolio. So I think that people have to work more closely. I think that you will have more shared functions in the real estate business. Perhaps you haven't had them beyond, financial, of course, and so on. I see that there will probably be new roles working across your portfolio rather than in single properties when it comes to energy management or when it comes to customer care, of course, and so on.
And do you think that then, so if I'm understanding correctly, the different divisions within Stena will have to communicate
Yeah,
more effectively, more fluidly? There's an extra value on
yeah,
data transmission because they're closer to each other.
yes,
At the same time, many businesses after the pandemic are moving more towards communication on Slack, communication on email, less in the office. I don't know what your office policy is, um, but how do you think sort of the global working environment? How do you think Stena's trajectory fits into that?
Uh, we have always looked at our office as our starting point, which means that we are supposed to work at our office in Stena. So we are working here 3 days at least every week, and we have also one day where which is Monday, where we always are together on the office, and then people can choose 1 to 2 days working from home. We also see that people really appreciate when we start to work in collaboration which goes horizontally across the company, which means that you mix property manager from different divisions, or you mix energy engineers across the portfolio, and that's one way of cross collaborating across divisions, which is very much one part of our change management, you also could say. But we're also mixing different roles within a company. So when we are doing whatever digital initiatives, we always try to mix so there is a good mix of different perspectives, different ages, different seniorities. We mix young and old and so on. And we are securing also that the ownership of the initiatives, it's on the business side. It's not my initiative. It's not my team's initiatives. We are all only supporting the initiatives. And that's also been one of our success factors. I think that we get a very strong pull from the business when it comes to digitalization. It's not something that me and my team has come up to, having a good conference in London at PropTech Connect, and somebody said this would be nice to do. It actually is something that they discovered themselves that they would like to do.
Amazing. And I think any discussion about teams, the workforce of a company, how it's changing, I think AI must be involved in that discussion to some degree. There is a lot of speculation. There's a lot of fear, a lot of hope, a lot of questions. Many specific agent applications are starting to become more widespread, even within our own business. We're now seeing some movement towards general agent applications. What does that actually mean in terms of digital transformation within businesses? Do people need to, is tech literacy less of a requirement? We were talking about software, and then also software internally on business structure, and then hardware for smart buildings, more efficient buildings. What does this new era of AI actually mean for digital transformation?
I think one of the discovery that we made when implementing our own AI colleague, you can say, within Stena, she's called Sia. Sia, which means foresight in English. I think that we received a lot of understanding from the business side that data quality is the key to have a good AI implementation as this AI assistant called Sia. So many of these old struggles that we had when it comes to GDPR and data quality when it comes to data, document storage and so on. Now we have a very sharp light shining on this, which is called AI, because now people understand that they have to do the housekeeping on our document storage places and securing that we have the correct data in our property management system and so on. So AI have become some kind of enabler when it comes to data quality, insight, both within top management and in the staff working in the systems. So that's one of the things that we discovered.
So, I mean, in essence, it's made data more useful. What does that mean in practice? I'd imagine people take data input more seriously, and those processes are carefully scrutinized such that the data can be used. But what is the output of this?
It is actually that people are more eager to keep data updated, so it's correct and relevant, because we have, I think, succeeded to communicate that if you got the wrong answer from the AI assistant, it probably is not any problem with the system. It's a problem with the source, which the system derives its knowledge. So this mantra, you can say, has actually driven people to do the job that they should have done before, but they really didn't see the how do you say, the benefit of doing the job. And one other thing that we have been doing the last years is also that every reporting from our financial systems or property management systems is now forbidden to be done in Excel, which means that you can do some consolidation, of course, in Excel and so on. But if somebody presses a button and prints a report and the report is not correct, we say that print the report till it is correct, which means that I have to correct the data source So the report is correct. They are not allowed to export that data to our Excel and start to fiddling it with Excel to fix it for that quarter. They have got to go to the source and fix the source data.
I mean, so AI really is a tool that seems to have come at a very good time, because I mean, the real estate industry in Europe is settling into higher interest rates. Data-driven decision making has never been more business critical, and now with data becoming more useful, do you think that real estate businesses are actually, I mean, from the PropTech Connect conference in September, people were quite optimistic because of a lot of the new tools that were, yes, interest rates were high, but people were optimistic. There's a lot of opportunity to be had, and this was sort of the kick up the butt that the industry needed a little bit. I guess strong businesses are made in difficult times, that many say. So, what would your outlook be for the industry, both in 2025 and going forwards, given all of that information?
When it comes to AI, I think that I just have to look in our own initiatives and see that when it comes to knowledge management, of course, the generative AI is a very strong contender when it comes to what we should focus on, because we could have this colleague that has worked at Stena forever and ever and know everything because she's got access to all the documents and data in our internal systems and external, of course. But we also see when it comes to energy management that traditional AI, machine learning AI, which not is the generative AI, is something that we are already using today when it comes to regulating district heating, incoming temperature, which we match together with weather forecasts and temperature measuring in all apartments. So we have an optimized heated property when the whole cold or hot weather strikes. So I think that when you try to manage a complex energy environment surrounding your property, it means that you have heating, perhaps as we do in Sweden a lot, district heating. You have your own electricity production when it comes to solar panels. You can store it in batteries. You have charging infrastructure on your parking lots and so on. And when you connect that to the grid, you can start to actually have a decision: should I use my own produced electricity for selling that to our charging infrastructure? Should I use it for my own? Should I sell it to the grid, and so on? So you get a very complex energy system surrounding your property, which must be managed with AI, because it will be on a minute or a quarter decision that you've got to make, because you have fluctuating prices and so on. So that's what we are now building, is that kind of infrastructure surrounding our property, so we can have a holistic energy management, you can say.
Fantastic. And what I'm gathering is that a lot of what you do, and forgive me if I'm wrong, a lot of what you're doing is building internally, not necessarily buying technology solutions. Is that or is it a case by case?
It's case by case. We are very pragmatic. We don't believe that we know everything, so we partner up with, for instance, universities here in Gothenburg, which has designed this AI algorithm for district heating. We are buying platforms for AI assistance, which we believe are as future-proof as we could want, or think and so on. So we're not developing alone. We are more like a Lego constructors. We are Lego. Yeah.
Understood. It sounds like technology is core to everything that Stena is doing.
Yeah.
From an environmental basis, from an internal operational basis, on a building level. It sounds like a very exciting time.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to portfolio managers and real estate executives who are looking to even in current market conditions, expand their portfolio, expand real estate businesses? What would your advice be to do this effectively?
Hire someone like me, of course. Well,
And go to
I'm
PropTech
just kidding, but hiring or signing someone that is support to secure that all the digital initiatives that you are doing is concerning is also looking into the business aspect and the human aspect. Secure that the role and the initiatives have people working with communication and change management. Make sure that this role has a good, solid connection with the business, so you don't have a detached innovation department, which I think is very usual mistake, that you set up somebody to be the innovation manager and so on, and then if you got that role in your company, people will think that the innovation will be done there because you have an innovation manager somewhere. If you don't, I don't believe that you should have an innovation manager. You should have someone facilitating innovation within your business, facilitating methods or structures and roles and making sure you have a thriving innovation culture where people are allowed to be curious and allowed to try things out and be participating in diverse initiatives, preferably across your company organization structure, not working with the same colleagues that they all are doing. But when it comes to other advices, since the digital, solutions are not one solution, they are a system of systems, which means that you have to have a good architecture, a digital landscape architecture, which means that I would always recommend anyone who's starting their digital journey to employ an IT architect or somebody like that can lay out that kind of plan, because things need to be connected or interact together and so on, because that is what that's what needed.
Great advice. I think to summarize, the innovation component and the digital transformation component cannot be superficial. It has to be core to the business and really fundamental to the business. And by extension of that, an IT architecture layout is crucial to this taking place successfully. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's correct.
Fantastic. Peter, this has been an amazing podcast to hear, the really exciting things Stena is doing. Hope that a lot of our listeners can listen to this and re-listen to this to see the same sorts of results Stena is seeing through their business. I'd love to give you a huge thank you to speaking with us.
Yeah, thank you
to see you.
Of course, thank you for having me, Matthew. I'm looking forward to that too, of course.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Peter.